Today on the podcast, we looked at a case study on how to use LinkedIn to sell, the proper way to use LinkedIn to sell using direct messages or jumping into people's inboxes. That's really important because a lot of us are in the professional services space, and LinkedIn is an easy way on social media to find clients. And we usually go about trying to sell or drum up business by copying and pasting these sorts of messages that I'm sharing right here, because this is something that I received from someone who is trying to sell digital marketing services for people that have podcasts, just like me. So you can take your time and pause so you can read through the draft. And on the podcast episode, we examined a couple of things that she did wrong. She didn't research to confirm that I already have a podcast. She could have found that out. Also, possibly how many downloads I get. She didn't try to spark up a conversation, because LinkedIn is mostly about starting profitable conversations rather than copying and pasting at people. She could have asked qualifying and discovery questions or conversations to figure out what problems I'm actually trying to solve, instead of assuming that because I have a podcast that I want more podcast downloads. And then if she had done that, engaging in conversation, we could have had an effective conversation where she makes a proposal, a presentation, where she could try to close later on. But overall, I'd say her biggest mistake is assuming that these sorts of things actually work. Yes, they can work, but only when we do the work in qualifying people properly, doing the research, having the conversations, and then figuring out exactly what the problem is before we make this pitch to have them buy our products or our services. So listen to the podcast, or slow down the video and look at the draft of what it is that she sent here. And I would say pretty much that's an example of what not to do. But overall, try to engage people in the conversation when you're using LinkedIn and other social media assets. And that's the proper way to sell, by engaging people in conversations rather than just copying and pasting these scripts that we think are going to bring in the profits for us.